Summary decisions under risk. Let us summarize the lecture on decisions under risk. We talked about risk aversion, loss aversion, probability weighting, and anticipated regret. We saw how to incorporate these concepts into analytical models, and we applied these concepts to various settings. The goals of this lecture were to learn about the most important concepts for the analysis of decisions under risk, to understand how to model the different concepts and how to derive the implications, and to understand the differences between the concepts and the limitations. We gained several insights. So one insight is that risk aversion often provides a reasonable benchmark. Risk aversion was probably the simplest concept we applied in this lecture. And in many situations where you have to predict decision under risk, you can come up with a good benchmark by applying risk aversion. In certain situations, however, only more complex concepts like loss aversion or probability weighting or anticipated regret were able to explain the observed behavior. However, what we also saw is that there's a trade-off between the explanatory and the predictive power of the different concepts. So some of the concepts can explain a lot, they are very flexible, but this flexibility also can have the downside that they do not make clear predictions in certain settings. Take, for example, the case of loss aversion, where it's crucial to define or to specify the reference point correctly. Playing around with the reference point gives you a lot of many degrees of freedom, which can then make the theory too flexible. So there's a basic trade-off between explanatory and predictive power. However, we saw that all of these different theories have their strengths and, of course, their weaknesses.